Now we will move on to the second important plain that we have under the foot of Himalayas, that is the Gangatic Plane. The name that we have, Gangatic Plane, is because of the river Ganges. Okay, so this plain is created by the river Ganges as it passes through the different states. You see here, this is a vast plain. No? This plain was formed by the sedimentary deposits of Ganges and its tributaries, Yamuna, mm, Gandak, Gaghar, Gosi. Okay, so you will find them here. Okay, so these tributaries, we see that these Ganges passes through the large area of Delhi, UP, Bihar, West Bengal. So it is in West Bengal we find that this river Ganges meets the sea. Okay, now here we see that groundwater is found at a shallow depth, which means it's always fertile. Okay, so what there is always, now we have enough and more groundwater because the river always flows, it doesn't dry up, like any other river. Okay, so that is why this vast northern plain, we call it as Gangatic Plain, is very fertile. Okay, so we also see that this river, one of the largest river in India, as it goes, it deposits sediments, in different areas. So based on sediments deposited by this river, we find four different kinds of land. Okay, so we will study about these four different kinds of land. There's a Bhabar, Terai, Bangar, and Khadar. Okay, so these are the different landforms we find that this river Ganges creates as it moves along. So the first landform that we will see is Bhabar. Okay, so why? What is the meaning of this name Bhabar? Okay, the Himalayan rivers deposit their coarse gravel, means small stones. Okay, small stones and small rocks, and as they climb from the Himalayas, it is the first land that the river touches. Okay, and therefore as the river touches that spot, it deposits so much of gravel and small rocks, okay, at the foot of the Shivalik mountains. So here these gravels is what we call as Bhabar. These gravels we call it as Bhabar. So it is here what happens because of this overlapping of these gravels and so on. The river flows underground. The river starts flowing under the gravel deposits in this region. Okay, now from this region we don't find the river traveling on the surface but rather under the surface. Now as it passes under the surface, now here this river resurfaces at this Terai region. Okay, now here the water spread far and wide, so this turns the land into a large swamp is a place which is always wet. Okay, and therefore this place makes it more fertile since the land is always wet. The land is always fertile, and then it is ready for the agriculture. So this agriculture, so it is at this part, at this Terai region, agriculture is very prominent. So agriculture was developed in this region after the independence. Okay, now after this region, after this landfall, we have Bangar. Okay, so as the river passes this region, okay, almost whole of UP and then Bihar, this river passes. Now these areas of old river sediments. So here what happens? The river continues to bring all the sediments, all the silts and deposits here at this region, and then here the water do not reach up here. Now already as the river passes through, passes and then forms these two different landforms. So this is the largest landform, Terai. As the water comes to this area, around the places of West Bengal, what happens? So it brings all the stones, small stones and gravels and grains are here. Okay, this makes this land more less fertile. So since the river doesn't come reach up to this level, and it always brings in unnecessary small gravels and stones. So what happens, so here this makes the land less fertile. So this area we call as Bangar. Okay, so from here the river comes to the final stage that we call as Khadar. So the river deposits a large new layer of silt here. Okay, now you see, as the river passes, it takes so much silts, deposits, sediments, it always deposits where it flows through. Okay, now it is the third stage in which we find the old river. Okay, so these deposits are called Khedar because it is here we have flood and rain. Okay, so you see here, it's a Bhabar plate, and then after this we have this Kada. Okay, so since we have so much rain here, here also we have a little bit of agricultural activity. So, okay, so here we have the prominent crops grown. Now mostly sugar cane we have here, wheat, paddy, jute, pulse and oil seeds we have at this region. Okay, so in the first stage we see, no, what is the first stage? The first stage is Bhabar. So here we don't have much fertile land. Okay, but here actually the river goes underground, but here Terai region it resurfaces and makes the land more swamp. Okay, so it actually makes the land more fertile, and from here the river comes to Bangar. Okay, it forms this landform. Okay, and mostly we have small stones, and therefore it is not really fit for the agriculture. But from here what happens, the river slowly comes to form this landform called Khadar, and here we have so much of rain, so much of since we have got so much of trees and so on, we have so much of rain, and here we have bit of fertile land formed by the river. The soil spreads across the UP, Bihar, West Bengal, and then here we have very important crops, like sugarcane, wheat, paddy, jute, pulses and so on. They are cultivated here. Okay, then here from here we have these Oxbow Lakes. Now what is the Oxbow Lakes? You see here in the picture, it is a natural, is a natural path of the river. Okay, but what happens here, because of too much of rain, and this area is often it's flooded. Okay, so what happened, so instead of going through this one, the river just passes through, in the straight line. Okay, so when the river floods, okay, because of rain and so on, it breaches, means breaks its banks. Okay, this we call as banks. Okay, this we call as river bank. So as river floods, what happens, it breaks the branches and then the river goes in the straight course. Okay, so leaving its serpentine, means snake. Serpentine means it's a snake, snake course, and then it goes into a straight line. So this land in the river bend is flooded to form Oxbow Lakes. Okay, so that we call as Oxbow Lake. Okay, so with that we come to the end of the second important plane, that is Gangatic Plane. So from here we move on to the third important plane, that's the Brahmaputra Plane.